Hi guys, welcome back to Cracking Analysis. Jumpa lagi dengan saya Yeni dan my co-host
Bayu.
Alright, we also have bintang tamu di sini, salah satu emerging analisnya Krakatoas yang sedang naik daun.
Naik
We
daun
want to
kelor,
welcome Haryo. Hi Haryo.
Halo Mbak Yeni, halo Bayu, halo semua.
Hi guys. So, today we'll be talking about beberapa match dari week, is it 14 or 15?
15
kemarin. Dan disambung dengan semacam finals predictors dari kami. So, we'll see if Melbourne here has a chance to make it to the top 8. And Haryo also has his take about the chance of Bulldogs making it to the finals this year. So, baik, kita mulai dari mana nih?
Oke, kita mulai dari Adelaide Hawthorn dulu sih. Especially Adelaide first game. They're very courageous. Obviously not really so much about the away win. They were playing at home and away. Yeah. They were playing in Adelaide, but I mean they were really good in terms of the ball use. They again, like I said, the ball their ball use is very clean. They were able to play the handball game throughout the quarter. Especially, I'm actually quite impressed with the defense line. Obviously, granted it's play against Hawthorn, but regardless, I think if they play like that throughout the year, I think they'll be very competitive. What do you think, Yeni or Masario?
Oh, the Adelaide. Okay. That was a big surprise for me. I don't know that Adelaide actually won this game. Ada banyak yang bilang kalau season ini sebenarnya lebih panjang, nggak cuman I don't know half a season. 18 and 19 games, there's a good chance that Adelaide will make it to the finals. Because their form just starts to take off. But yeah, I'm personally surprised by that game. What do you think is wrong with Hawthorn in that game?
I think everything is wrong with Hawthorn. Mungkin dari kalau dari backline sih enggak ya. I think they played really well. I mean obviously CJ is still learning. Leadership team still question though. We've got like Sean Burgoyne, we've got Ben McAvoy, and we've got a couple in the back. Obviously Ben Stratton leading as a captain, but his captaincy still being questioned, like whether he can lead the team, whether he's able to emerge and spark some potentially a team fighting spirit. But unfortunately, this hasn't been seen in this game. They were up until the third quarter, but after the third quarter, they just blown away, which is obviously thoroughly disappointing for Hawthorn supporter. But for the rest of the Australian community, for goodness sakes, I mean they loved it, and I loved it as well. Looking at it though, I think the one that is wrong is that their goal kicking accuracy hasn't been as good as the previous years, and again, I think it spells trouble. We've seen team like Brisbane Lions. They haven't been able to convert it really well, but defensively they are really good. So that kind of like equal and mounting the same amount of the goal kicking difference, I guess.
Yeah. For me, like I think Hawthorn just giving up. I don't know. It's like I think like you said earlier that Hawthorn itu pengen dapat pemain baru yang bagus dari NIB draft. Makanya mereka berupaya untuk kalah biar setidaknya dapat pick 3 atau pick 4 gitu Mas ya mungkin ya.
Iya. Tanking ya. Tanking kalau misalnya istilahnya di sini.
Model-modelnya kayak gitu. Tapi memang agak menarik juga kalau kita lihat masalah Adelaide ini karena I've been told you maybe in week 5 to 10, like the trend of Adelaide Crows is becoming higher and higher, but they can't deliver at all. I don't know why, even though they play with North Melbourne, team that for me it's in this season far worse than Hawthorn. They can just deliver the blow, even though they play in the Adelaide Oval. But yeah, I think that's the spirit. I think ada satu hal di sini yang mungkin ya bagaimana pemain-pemain Adelaide ini ingin memberikan sesuatu yang bagus untuk Matthew Nicks ya, mungkin berarti ya, supaya ketika di season pertamanya itu berasa wah oke lah gitu, mungkin seperti itu. Tapi memang kalau benar kata Mas Bayu dari start memang agak memprihatinkan. Kalau misalkan tadi mengingat yang Brisbane Lions bahwa memang dia efisiensi kicking di inside safety-nya nggak bagus, tapi dia tuh punya banyak chance sehingga dari banyaknya itu mereka bisa convert mungkin sekitar 5 atau 6 atau 10 yang mungkin mereka bisa menang. Tapi kemarin ketika di Hawthorn itu agak sulit Mas seperti itu untuk mereka masuk di inside 50 aja. Kalau kita lihat di data kemarin itu sangat average mereka itu harusnya jauh lebih tinggi dibandingkan dengan Adelaide. Tapi khusus di game kemarin itu mereka sangat-sangat rendah. Mungkin ya tadi semangat untuk menangnya itu tidak ditemukan lagi di Hawthorn karena ya udah deh gitu mungkin. Aku nggak tahu. Aku melihat sebagai outsider ya.
Tanking adalah sesuatu yang sangat familiar ya sebagai seorang Melbourne fan. Our club does that a lot. But does it make any difference? I don't know. Ask Simon Goodwin.
Look, I don't think you should blame Simon Goodwin here. I've been saying it. You shouldn't blame Simon Goodwin. He did amazing job.
Nah, tapi aku setuju sama Haryo. Maksudnya kalau komparasi goal kickingnya dibandingkan antara Hawthorn dengan Brisbane, Brisbane adalah tim dengan field kicking yang menurutku cukup bagus gitu. Jadi ketika mereka nggak berhasil convert, they make so many chances gitu. Jadi they kick lots of behinds, but they also have more chance to kick goals. Yang sayangnya, Hawthorn didn't do that in the last game against Adelaide.
Ya, mungkin satu lagi ya bahwa memang sebenarnya kalau kita lihat dari stat yang kita lihat rata-rata lah ya dalam season ini, sebenarnya posisi Hawthorn dan Adelaide itu sama Mbak. Jadi dari semua stat-stat ini kalau kita rata-rata semuanya, nggak ada yang spesial dari tim Hawthorn sama tim Adelaide itu tahun ini gitu loh. Kayak mereka masih, misalkan ini ya, kalau kita lihat, kalau misalkan Adelaide sendiri itu posisi 18 di disposal, posisi 18 di kick, posisi 18 di inside safety. They are very worse. They're worse ya untuk tahun ini. Dan tapi ketika lihat Hawthorn juga tipe-tipenya itu sangat serupa gitu. Kayak Hawthorn itu secara rata-rata itu dari disposal mereka itu kedua terbawah. Kicking mereka juga kedua terbawah, setingkat di atas Adelaide. Dan juga mereka adalah tim dengan disposal efisiensi yang paling rendah di musim ini. Jadi memang kalau misalkan chance Adelaide untuk menang itu ada, karena memang mereka tuh setara, tapi memang karena kita udah sering ngelihat bahwa Adelaide itu kalah terus, dan mungkin dalam hati juga bagi beberapa dari kita adalah pengen melihat the first winless in the AFL era. Kemenangan Hawthorn ini bisa jadi satu hal yang kekalahan Hawthorn ini bisa jadi satu hal yang luar biasa gitu loh buat kita lihat.
Yang sebenarnya biasa aja kalau dilihat stats-nya dua tim ini ya, Haryo ya.
Iya.
Oke. Kita lanjut ngobrolin GWS Giants versus Carlton. Salah satu game yang cukup close juga. Jadi Carlton sempat leading di beberapa part of the game, tapi in the end they let it go. What do you guys think of that game?
Untuk GWS, mungkin ini pertama kali didengar secara live. Aku sudah berkali-kali bilang ke Bayu bahwa dalam 5 match ke depan, GWS akan selalu menang, Mbak. Dan mereka akan mungkin ada berada di peringkat 5 atau 6. Karena sebenarnya kalau secara statistik, itu mereka itu nggak jelek-jelek amat, Mbak. Kalau misalkan kita lihat ya, bahwa mereka overall, kalau kita rata-rata semuanya, mereka tuh seharusnya sekarang itu ada di posisi ke-7. Jadi memang mereka punya beberapa stat-stat yang mereka tuh kuat, seperti di disposals, kemudian secara possession mereka itu dari 18 tim, mereka itu nomor 5. Mereka benar-benar sangat dominan. Tapi memang di sisi lain bahwa kita lihat bahwa untuk kalau dari dari akurasi sebenarnya ini problem dari GWS karena terlalu bergantung pada Jeremy Cameron kayaknya tahun lalu. Terus kemudian sekarang Toby Green yang sering on off karena cedera dan sebagainya itu, dan yang tim-tim yang lain ini player-player yang lain itu masih belum bisa mengimbangi pengaruh ya, influence dari apa yang mereka punya di GWS. Apalagi ketika Brad Davis sampai sekarang masih uncertain ya untuk di belakang.
Betul banget, dan kemarin seperti yang kita lihat kemarin sih ya, and obviously you've been telling me about GWS going to win the next 5 round. I still think they still bounded by luck. Masih beruntung banget lah istilahnya kalau misalnya bisa dibilang GWS menang, karena ngelihat dari Carlton kemarin sih sebenarnya mereka udah bagus banget ya, and they were really fighting for it. In the round 14 obviously they had quite a bad luck against Collingwood, but they were really showing up for a fight untuk for the final spot, and I was actually thinking whether actually Carlton can get into the finals, and looking based on the lawan GWS kemarin, I think they were really showing the fighting spirit. They were really showing some fight to get into the top 8, but unfortunately it's not that they've been let down by the defender, but it's more about they couldn't handle GWS counter attack right at the fourth quarter, especially right in the middle of the fourth quarter. GWS just starting to show the tenacity, their winning mentality, but yeah, the fact that GWS cannot win against Carlton for more than like a double digit, that really shows that, I think GWS, although they should be in the finals, they they still have a little bit of a struggle. They still have tactically not really adjusting yet to play against a bigger team. But that's just my perspective. Maybe Yeni would have a different opinion on that.
No, I completely agree. Salah satu hal yang sebenarnya muncul setelah kayaknya Carlton 2 game terakhir kalah ya.
Betul.
Ada wacana yang mempertanyakan leadership-nya Patrick Cripps di matches that really matter. Including
sama kayak ini ya, sama kayak Ben Stratton juga ya. They should win against Adelaide.
Cuma kalau misalkan masalah leadership ya, sebenarnya juga kalau kita lihat dari sisi GWS sendiri, itu sebenarnya Stephen Cornelio ini kan juga dipertanyakan juga. Jadi bahwa ini case kayak Cripps, kayak mungkin Cornelio, kayak Bontempelli, apakah memang mereka itu kayak dipaksakan untuk menjadi sebuah kapten dari sebuah tim yang memang sebenarnya itu butuh lebih dari sekedar figur gitu loh. Mungkin kalau misalkan kita lihat ya, oke, Carlton siapa? Oh, Cripps. Jadinya Carlton itu Cripps. Jadinya kalau jadiin kapten mungkin ya Cripps aja lah jadi kapten. Sama kayak Bulldogs kan Bontempelli gitu loh. Jadi ada figur seperti ini, padahal sebenarnya leadership itu jauh dari sekedar figur yang ini, bahwa mereka bisa menginfluence untuk bisa bergerak. Tapi sebenarnya ada misalkan ada semacam motivational talk, atau mungkin ada semacam usaha-usaha yang sebenarnya itu nggak terlihat. Dan mungkin di sisi GWS ini Stephen Cornelio juga seperti itu, dan dibanding di awal sekarang sudah mulai agak lumayan influence-nya, dan memang ini yang mungkin bisa jadi tanda bahwa GWS ini bisa jadi contender yang menarik nanti ketika di final.
Setuju. Oke, itu GWS dan Carlton. Kalau game semalam, Brisbane Lions. Did you guys see the game?
Yes.
We did. I think look, it's
kalian berdua kayaknya tip Collingwood kan di game semalam.
Yeah, I mean we did. I don't know whether I influenced Masario to tip Collingwood, but I tipped Collingwood out of a sheer I guess curiosity how I want them to show kind of like a dominant against Brisbane Lion, but unfortunately, yeah, like I said earlier in the first preview, I think, look, Brisbane Lion accuracy is definitely questionable, and that's what I think Collingwood fills in the whole. But again, they're defensive against. Well, it's not really a power forward, but against Myocek, they play against Jaden Stevenson. They play against Mason Cox, and obviously they don't have the height of Mason Cox, but Harris Andrews was just fantastic all night long. And he was able to give some coverage and leverage for Brisbane Lion defender to be able to withstand the Collingwood, I suppose, attack and their efficiency inside 50. We saw a figure like Jaden Stevenson who has been able to really dominant in the forward 50, and we you know, like Jamie Elliott as well, and obviously Myocek kicked 3 goals, but kick a few goals, but it's still that Brisbane Lion defensive 50. Defensively, they were able to really withstand that attacking, which is really good to show, I suppose, like the AFL community that they are up for the grand finals. They are up for finals as well. And obviously they are in the home advantage. But again, Collingwood has been really. I would use Richard's word here. It's absolutely circus act from them. And yeah, it's Collingwood have got a lot of issues to work with. They miss side bottom. They miss Jordan De Goey. They've got a couple of players still left out of contract, and that can be really that can play in the, you know, mentally as well. And whether Collingwood Collingwood have the ability to get over that, I think it still remain questionable.
Ya, kalau buat aku sih sebenarnya kemarin kenapa kok tip Collingwood ya? Karena ya, you know that I personally not really convinced about Brisbane Lions at all. No offense for any Brisbane fans, but I sometimes refer the B on Brisbane Lions is the behind Lions. So yeah, they have like a record like 17 behinds in a match that is broken by Gold Coast maybe two weeks ago. By 20 behinds in a match, but yeah, the goal kicking accuracy like Mas Bayu is quite something that needs to be worried about Brisbane Lions. But tapi kalau misalkan lihat dari apa ya stats yang head to headnya ya, kalau misalnya kita lihat di websitenya AFL itu, memang juga sebenarnya Collingwood is like ahead ya, terutama kalau terkait dengan possession. Dalam beberapa kesempatan ketika Brisbane Lions berhadapan dengan tim yang menguasai secara possession, yang memang kemarin itu ternyata Collingwood juga menguasai juga possessionnya, dan itu sebenarnya juga mereka agak struggling dan dapat hasil yang minor dibandingkan dengan mereka menghadapi dengan tim-tim yang less dominan lah secara possession. Itu yang menjadi satu hal yang kemarin membuat Collingwood itu memiliki kemungkinan chance untuk menang. Tapi memang kalau misalkan kemarin itu Collingwood itu problemnya lebih ke forwardnya sih, bahwa memang banyak yang butterhand masih. Jadi Butterfingers, sorry. Iya, kayak Mason Cox, bahkan kalau lihat di quarter berapa waktu itu yang Brody Myocek
quarter keempat itu.
Quarter keempat
di depan gawang ya.
Itu dari depan gawang itu sudah ya sampai ya itu apa ya? Aku nggak tahu apa memang karena slippery atau mungkin karena apa. Cuma kalau misalkan sudah berada di depan seperti itu kemudian nggak bisa nangkep, itu kayaknya sudah bukan level dari AFL gitu. Mungkin bisa ikut Footy Seven aja, Mas. Mbak, iya, bisa ikut Footy Seven itu juga mungkin dimaafkan. Tapi untuk situasi yang krusial, sebenarnya Collingwood quarter 4 itu kemungkinan menangnya itu tinggi.
Yes.
Tapi memang karena pemain depannya saja yang mungkin kurang bisa maksimalkan peluang, sehingga memang jadinya seperti ini.
Tapi dengan result ini, dua tim ini masih ada di top 8. Jadi Collingwood masih di 6th yang lumayan aman dengan 34 poin, dan Brisbane I think they'll probably lock in top 3 or top 2 by the end of the season.
Definitely.
Okay.
But I guess one last thing though,
Yeah.
with the Brisbane Lions, Collingwood, I think they haven't been able to show confidence in Mason Cox. Mason Cox has been in footy season for quite a long time now. I think 4th or 5th season. But you know, the fact that Mason Cox hasn't been able to take the mark from their teammates, and the teammates shows the show a bit of hesitation to give to Mason Cox. It's deeply concerning to see it from the outside perspective. But if you got like a tall forward like that, who has the massive advantage in height, and you're not giving it to him, you're just wasting a salary cap on one particular player without being able to show the impact on him.
Circus Cox.
Yes, Circus Cox, yes, Circus act. $5 to see a circus act.
Okay. Last game we'll talk about is, well, let's just skip this one and move to the next part.
I think it's fair to say that Yeni has to cover this one. Yen, look, Melbourne against Sydney Swans. What do you like about it? If you do have anything to like about it, maybe we should talk about the pre-game circus act. Talking about 2 hours before the game and turning up as if that's a local footy league. What do you think of it, as a Melbourne supporter?
Look, I think there's something about the hub rules from AFL that actually made Melbourne couldn't travel to Cairns earlier. Jadi Melbourne kan kayaknya ini di Gold Coast hub. Nah, si Sydney sama Fremantle itu di Cairns hub. So they obviously are there for longer than Melbourne. Dan kayaknya kalau kalian itu di hub yang berbeda dari from where the stadium for the game is, I don't think that you actually can get there much like days earlier from the game. I don't know. It's a silly rule, but I think that can be factored to how Melbourne got there 2 hours before the game, and as you can see, they were cooked.
Is this a conspiracy, or is this what
I know,
is
right? This
This
stops
is
us
not a
from winning the
conspiracy.
flag.
But do you think if if this incident was never happened, so do you think Melbourne still have a chance to win that?
to
win that game, Sydney has always like head-to-headnya Melbourne sama Sydney kan, I don't know, Sydney always had a good game against Melbourne. Dan with Melbourne, we never know for sure because we never know which Melbourne actually turn up. Then I think one day before that, this selection was out, and there are so many questionable players in the list, and they decided to drop a couple of big names, which I think could actually help us to win the game. So I was not sold at all.
So when you say a questionable list of players, do you want to drop the name? Do you want to dox them, doxing the players' names? Who do you think is not a really key factor in the game here, Yen?
Can I do that? No, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, I mean, it's entirely up to you. I mean, it's your opinion. I personally don't like Ben Stratton to captain the team. But then again, it's definitely a whole list of I suppose like a backstage decision. But you as a Melbourne supporter, particularly, who do you think is the most well, I suppose beneficial to the club in particular? Do you think?
Beneficial to the club or beneficial to Sydney?
Well, beneficial. Oh wow, beneficial to Sydney. Who is this? Who is this? Are we talking about the big Oscar McDonald, or are we talking about
Oscar McDonald's? Definitely someone I would drop like from the last. I mean, he's been so shit this season.
Why is that?
I mean, he's slow. And well, he used to be pretty good at clearance, but the last few games he didn't do his job well. He got outpaced, he got outplayed, and I think you can't just turn up with Oscar McDonald, Alex Needle, Boleyn, and then Joel Smith to a game as important as that one. They also decided to drop Vandenbergs as well for God knows what. They also dropped Cossey Pickett as well. Well, Pickett hasn't been that good, but I think he's an important player that gives us Melbourne some variety in the forward. But let's talk about let's talk about Melbourne's forward though. Sam Whiteman, I think he only had 2 disposal in that game, and it says a lot about Melbourne's forward this season.
Yeah. And I think and also mungkin Christian Petrarca mungkin juga nggak terlalu kelihatan kemarin, Mbak ya. Nggak tahu apa mungkin karena
midfield in general nggak kelihatan sama sekali menurutku di game kemarin. The mid non-existent.
Iya, dan memang kalau misalkan kita melihat tim-tim mungkin kayak mungkin levelnya sama kayak Port Adelaide ya, atau mungkin dengan siapa ketika Port Adelaide, siapapun yang bisa, tim yang bisa untuk ngejagain Charlie Dixon supaya nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain, they will win against Port Adelaide, and this case will be similar maybe to Melbourne, yang dimana ketika Christian Petrarca memang dijagain banget, atau mungkin nggak on form, sebagus-bagusnya Clayton Oliver itu sebenarnya masih kurang sebenarnya karena butuh figur seperti Dustin Martinnya gitu loh. Jadi memang memang di sini dan kalau kita lihat statsnya juga Christian Petrarca cuma dapat berapa 2 mark, 2 tackle, 2 clearance, nggak terlalu signifikan dibanding dengan rata-rata dia di game-game sebelumnya.
Tapi memang gimana ya, kayak Melbourne is not comfortable attacking karena memang backline-nya juga nggak terlalu safe sih di game itu. Jadi kayak kita ada Salem, kita ada Liver, kita ada May, but di halfback-nya itu yang menurutku cukup bermasalah.
But there is no Sydney forward. But there is no Sydney forward that able to really crack on against Melbourne, is there? I mean, we talk about Sydney forwards here. For goodness sakes, there is not much. I mean, there's nobody Franklin. The majority of the Sydney Swans goal scorer is actually coming from midfield. And Melbourne midfield, you've got Clayton Oliver, you've got Angus Brayshaw, the Peter Cech. You've got, you've got a couple of really good players in midfield, but you're unable to withstand it. Do you think this is a really major problem for Melbourne, or do you think we just have to throw Simon Goodwin and everything's fixed?
I mean, if you compare that game against Sydney dengan game sebelumnya lawan St Kilda, salah satu hal yang membedakan kan kayak midfieldnya karena backline terus halfbacknya juga menurutku lebih solid di game against St Kilda. They could stop St Kilda's run. Melbourne's are actually more comfortable playing with the ball forward. Petrarca juga ada di forward line lebih sering daripada di game against Sydney, so that he could create opportunities ketika forward line-nya Melbourne mandul. But it didn't happen in the game against Sydney. Jadi relying on forward line yang consisting of Bailey Fritz, Sam Whiteman, Mitch Brown yang sudah aging juga ada. It's not a top 8 side.
Do you think a natural causes plays part in that? When I say natural causes, it's the wind, because it was really windy as well on the day. Do you think that plays part on how Melbourne
how Max got
pardon my language, but utterly shit on the day, or what do you think? Because I think, look, if my team is getting beaten by Adelaide because of the win, I'm totally okay with it. But there is no win whatsoever, so I blame the home ground. Do you think that the wind plays a big part on your final chances?
Local wind. It reminded me of the game against Bulldogs. Kayaknya on that day it was also bloody windy, but for some reason it's a local wind just affecting Melbourne, but it didn't affect Bulldogs whatsoever.
So it is the wind then. So the problem. So you think the problem is the wind, or do you think the problem is Simon Goodwin? See that?
But,
Very good pun.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Mas Bayu. Sebenarnya kalau misalkan kita lihat dari statsnya Melbourne ya, apa sih yang paling dominan? Sebenarnya yang paling dominan dari Melbourne itu kan clearance. Clearance-nya, center clearance, kemudian juga di sini kalau kita lihat stoppage clearance dan sebagainya itu mereka 5 besar nih dibandingkan dengan tim-tim yang lain. Ketika mungkin situasinya adalah windy atau bahkan sebagainya, mungkin akan pengaruh terhadap clearance-nya, dan mungkin juga Melbourne kurang terbiasa dengan main-main handball mungkin ya, ketika memang bagusnya ketika memang di situasi windy. But bisa jadi alam itu bisa jadi satu hal yang mempengaruhi, apalagi kalau lihat di game sebelumnya. Tapi memang di kemarin bahwa memang Sydney, kalau boleh jujur, I'm sorry to say Mbak Yeni, tapi memang jauh lebih dominan dibandingkan dengan Melbourne. I don't know why. Yeah.
Berarti Melbourne ini tidak berfaktor dengan alam.
Berkonspirasi untuk menjatuhkan Melbourne, angin pun juga berkonspirasi to let us down.
It's all the konspirasi to favor Bulldogs, Mbak. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
Nah, kita ngomongin tentang Bulldogs juga nih. Let's go and talk about the finals prediction for this year. I'm still convinced that Bulldogs will be able to get in. But then again, they're gonna take a lot more fights against West Coast in a couple of days. But then again, I'm not the one who's supposedly talk about Bulldogs. Mas Harry, you go for the Bulldogs yourself. Show me your biases and show me your unbiased side of you.
Okay, but actually I am more analytics than becoming a biased supporter. Yeah, but actually after the Melbourne's loss in this season, I think there are 4 teams that still have a chance to go. So it's Melbourne, it's also Bulldogs, and I think one of the Hawthorn is still one of the team to be considered if they can win next round. And I think I'm sorry, and Frio I think is already out. But if they can win 3 other matches after this, I think they still have a chance. But when we talk about Bulldogs, you said maybe to me next week, when I'm depressed enough to see them lose 33 points from Geelong, from the first quarter, and then Geelong wins the game. So it's more about the quality of the player that really matters right now. Dengan kembalinya si Josh Dunkley, terus kembalinya Aaron Norton, terus kemudian meskipun kita mungkin kehilangan Easton Wood dan Latham Van der Merwe yang memang di situ benar-benar ngefek ke gamenya. Tapi besok mungkin bisa ditambal dengan adanya Zen Cordy yang akan main ketika lawan West Coast Eagles besok. Itu sebenarnya kalau secara kualitas pemain mungkin nggak akan beda jauh dengan Geelong. Sekarang tinggal bagaimana mensiasati West Coast dengan gaya bermainnya yang di situ sebenarnya nggak terlalu efektif banget ketika main di Gabba, Mas. Aku nggak tahu apa memang di Queensland itu
di Metricon kan besok?
Di Metricon ya?
Iya.
Ya, aku nggak tahu di Optus Stadium itu ada aura apa gitu sehingga memang si West Coast Eagles bisa superior banget, namun ketika berada di luar Optus Stadium mereka inferior sekali sebenarnya kalau dibandingkan dengan mereka main di Optus Stadium gitu loh. Tinggal bagaimana caranya untuk memanfaatkan situasi ini juga, dan juga memanfaatkan mungkin jeda yang hanya 4 atau 5 hari ya dari game yang besok ini. West Coast di round ke-16 ini. Jadi memang sebenarnya untuk chance itu sangat-sangat bisa bagi Bulldogs untuk masuk ke final, tapi tergantung dari Melbourne sebenarnya juga. Bahwa Melbourne persentasenya 108,1. Bulldogs
Mungkin
101. Jadi
mungkin
memang
Melbourne mau menzakatkan persentasenya mereka ke Bulldogs atau gimana ini?
Iya, daripada gini Mbak Yeni, daripada nanti begitu masuk ke final kemudian langsung tersingkir gitu Mbak.
Yang
Mending
penting
bisa
masuk finals.
iya.
Yang penting masuk finals, guys.
But
It doesn't
actually,
matter.
one team that I really need to consider ya Mas ya untuk punya kemungkinan untuk nggak lolos, St. Kilda sebenarnya.
Gimana tuh? Gimana?
Iya, karena sebenarnya kalau misalkan kita lihat ya fixture dari St. Kilda ya misalkan di round 16 ini mereka akan berhadapan dengan Hawthorn. Ya bolehlah St. Kilda menang. Namun ketika masuk ke round-round setelahnya itu St. Kilda akan melawan West Coast dengan GWS. Dan aku masih berada dalam suatu keyakinan bahwa GWS ini akan memenangkan semua game dari 5 ini kan 5 selanjutnya itu sendiri. Dan kalau misalkan kalau misalkan kita lihat ya bahwa sebenarnya St. Kilda ini sekarang berada di posisi 32. Jadi sebenarnya dengan hanya 1 winning aja di 36 itu mereka masih belum aman sebenarnya dari kejaran dari Western Bulldogs, Melbourne maupun Carlton yang punya game 1 lebih banyak sebenarnya. Kecuali Bulldogs ya. Jadi memang kalau misalkan mereka masih bermain dengan pola yang sama seperti yang pada game sebelumnya yang mereka mengalami kekalahan, menurutku akan sulit bagi St. Kilda atau minimal mereka cuma bisa di peringkat 8. Mereka nggak akan bisa masuk lebih dari peringkat 7 atau peringkat 5 atau 6. Kalau menurut Mbak Yeni gimana tentang St. Kilda ini?
Aku setuju sama Haryo in a way that top 5, top 6 mungkin sudah locked in ya, tapi 7-8 yang sekarang dihuni St. Kilda sama GWS, I think it's still open for grab oleh either Melbourne, Western Bulldog, or Essendon, depending on how they perform. Kalau dilihat dari fixture-nya, St. Kilda is playing Hawthorn, West Coast, and GWS. The Hawthorn game, as Haryo says, probably winnable, but not sure about the West Coast and the GWS game. But yeah.
I mean, look, talking about St. Kilda though, if let's say it goes down to the line, let's say St. Kilda do want to finish 6 or 7, it's going to be very difficult for them if they do manage it to finish 8th, let's say, because if you do finish 8th, you're going to play against the 5th team, and if you look at the 5th team, it's going to be either Richmond. Richmond probably is going to finish top 4, but it's probably going to play against West Coast, or it's probably going to play against some really good team in general, and you wouldn't want it that. I mean, St. Kilda will definitely show some fights in the very last round against GWS, depending on the outcome, of course. If they do play against GWS and they finish top 5, that will be fantastic, but I think it's very, very impossible. But yeah, looking at St. Kilda form at the moment, it's been really, really questionable. The fact that they lost against Melbourne, it's a mind-boggling. Definitely, the umpires get them ahead. Undeserving win, and we know that from Melbourne supporters' perspective. But then again, yeah, St. Kilda really, all they need to do is just win one game against Hawthorn, boost their percentage, and stays in the final. Whether the other team, such Bulldogs, the likes of Bulldogs, the likes of Carlton, the likes of, Essendon is definitely not coming into contention at all. But yeah, Bulldogs just have to lose if they do lose against West Coast, they just have to win against Fremantle and what is it again, Mas?
Hawthorn.
Fremantle and Hawthorn. Yeah. I mean, look, Western Bulldogs against Hawthorn, that it's not even a question. Hawthorn is going to lose. Hawthorn is going to get picked too. Whether Bulldogs able to capitalize that into 50-odd point winning game, it's definitely a question remain on them.
Yeah, Mas. But I think if Bulldogs lost again West Coast maybe in this round, I think the season is over, Mas. Karena sebenarnya,
I really beg to differ, Mas.
I think the season is over, like because Bulldogs have not a good trend on winning with a big margin sebenarnya, Mas. I think the last win with a big margin, I think they play again Adelaide by 50 points, but after that it's maximum 20 or something like that. So untuk mengejar percentage dari Melbourne dengan mungkin game yang tersisa, apalagi Melbourne juga punya kesempatan untuk bisa menang 2 game dari 3 atau 4 game yang mereka punya. Itu memang agak susah, Mas, yang tak lihat dibanding itu. Jadi memang the initial step to do it is to win again West Coast no matter what. So if you at least win again West Coast, you have a spirit and you have a confidence to win again Hawthorn and Freo. And I think based on the history or based on the previous matches, beating Hawthorn and Fremantle is not easy, Mas. Karena kita juga nggak tahu apa yang terjadi di game West Coast. Dan kalau misalkan kita melihat Bulldogs, adanya 1 pemain atau 2 pemain penting yang nggak ada aja, it will change, Mas, change the game. Dan memang karena memang gamenya Bulldogs itu kalau Mas lihat itu jauh lebih membutuhkan link antar pemain, link belakang, tengah, depan. Karena they prefer to play handball, Mas. They're the first rank on handball percentage among all the teams, dan mereka bagus banget dengan main handball sebenarnya. Tapi ketika memang ada 1 atau 2 yang nggak link dari permainan handball ini, itu akan kacau juga. Sehingga mungkin sekarang tinggal bagaimana caranya supaya harapannya itu para pemain yang ada sekarang itu nggak cedera lagi deh. Gitu.
No, but dengan performance Bulldogs against Geelong in their last game, I don't think that was bad. Like coming into the game against West Coast dengan performance dengan their last performance against Geelong, I think they have a chance.
Yeah, but and also they have a chance, Mbak, sebenarnya karena memang tadi kan breaknya itu. Cuma kalau waktu itu aku sama Bayu lihat juga kalau ketika Bulldogs ini after they break for a long time, I think it's similar like Geelong. It's sometimes they mostly lose after the bye or something like that. That's the trend that I worry about. Tapi kalau secara kualitas sebenarnya both equal, Mbak, untuk situasi kayak gini.
So,
tapi kembali,
is your hope alive or pretty much?
Oh, very alive, Mbak.
Okay.
Very alive. But I don't know after West Coast game. So I'm still happy, even though that it's still I think just 50% chance for Bulldogs to go through the finals. But hopefully they can deliver these 3 matches with a win. I hope Melbourne can do too. So we both go to the finals and St. Kilda go away. Okay.
Talking about the final chances as well, we talk about couple of players. Semoga nggak cedera lagi lah ya. Ini kalau misalnya Melbourne nih, kita ngomongin tentang Melbourne sekarang. Kalau misalnya Petrarca and Angus Brayshaw or Clayton Oliver is out, do you think Melbourne realistically chance to make it to the final again?
Siapa yang cedera tadi?
Well, okay. I'll give you 4 players. All right. One of the players is gonna go out. Do you think there are a chance? First is Angus Brayshaw, Clayton Oliver, Christian Petrarca, or Max Gawn. So either one of them injured, would you think you will be able to make it to the finals regardless?
I don't know.
Or
'cause
otherwise, which team are you changing it to? Are you changing to Hawthorn or are you?
I mean, Angus Brayshaw, he has been okay this season. If you compare the stats with Clayton Oliver or Christian Petrarca, he's not even that up there this season. He's been okay in the past. I think three or four games, but before that he was also nowhere to be seen. With Max Gon's situation. I don't know. Even with his dominance in the heatouts, you can see how the centre bound clearance from Melbourne is also not that influenced by Mexican dominance in the heatouts.
So you're saying that Mexican should go to Hawthorn?
Well. I mean, we did well even with Bruce.
So in saying that though, I mean Bruce did well. Mexican did well as well. So is the problem with Melbourne now lays in midfield, or do you think they lays in forward as well to make it to the finals as well? Because at the moment Melbourne they have to go through hell to get into the finals, and when they do, it's going to be worth it. Obviously, it gives hope to Melbourne supporter, but obviously they're going to get knocked out after the first final week. Anyway, talking about that, how realistic is it? Do you think Melbourne is going to make it to the finals?
I think I think they'll win this game against Freo. I don't know, hopefully, but they just lost a game which they supposed to win against Sydney. So definitely it also didn't instill confidence whatsoever fans Melbourne. Soalnya sekali lagi masalahnya Melbourne itu ya Melbourne sendiri gitu. Like
so it's the worst own enemy, eh?
Yeah, Melbourne is always their own enemy. Tapi kalau mau menyoroti satu seri-seri yang memang kita sangat lemah this season, I agree that our forward line is definitely something that needs some lifts.
Do you think it's a chance Messi will go down to Melbourne, and what kind of impact will he get in Melbourne?
Messi
No, I'm kidding. I'm messing around. I know it will.
I think Melbourne should have a chance to buy Joe Daniher.
Yeah, Joe Daniher. Yeah. What's his name? Yeni. The one with the mullet, Luke.
Luke Jackson.
Luke who? Yeah, Luke Jackson. What happened to him?
Hamstring.
When you need him the most, he's gone. He's like the Avatar.
No, he's got hamstring injury.
And that is bad for such a young player to have a hamstring injury. Yeah.
Mas Bayu, Yeni, maybe to please one of Krakatoas member, we need to discuss about Essendon. Do you think Essendon still have a chance to go to the finals?
Look, I think that is not a question at all. I know that. I think it should be a statement. I think, look, if I was an Essendon supporter, I think I would be just giving up the hope as soon as the season started. Even before the season started, I already give it up. So, look, I think looking at the current player, in all seriousness, they are just absolute. Look, their midfield is absolutely fantastic. You've got Dylan Grimes. You've got. I'm sorry, not Dylan Grimes. Oh my God, Dylan Shield. You've got Dylan Shield. You've got. I mean, Belchambers, for goodness sakes.
Has been.
Yeah, I mean, you've got McGrath as well. It's just that Belchambers hasn't been able to capitalize it, and they've got a really serious issue in ruckman department. In terms of forward, obviously you've seen Joe Daniher did really, really well.
Except
obviously, not necessarily the last game. I mean, play against Hawthorn
all the time in the last game.
And you know
play
that
against Hawthorn.
Yeah, and in Geelong match this round, he's managed, so he won't play against Geelong this week.
Yeah, and he's definitely he's injury riddled and he's injury prone. But when he plays, he plays really, really well. But obviously when he gets the ball and when he kicks a goal, he gets too cocky, and I think it's a problem with Essendon as well. When you're overly relying on Joe Deniha, and you have nowhere to be relying on. I mean, if you rely on McDonald Tipungwuri, it's going to be a trouble for you as well, because yeah, he's a small forward. He's starting to slow down now. I think coming into the season, I think Essendon, in my perspective, they are peaked too early. Jadi gimana ya, Essendon chance untuk ke final itu benar-benar sangat minim banget. Dilihat lagi kalau misalnya lawannya, I mean, they play against Port Adelaide the next round. That's good, already spells the trouble. So it doesn't matter what Essendon, sorry, not next round, the run next round after. But it is already spells the trouble. If if I was Krakatoas members, Richard in particular, I would just give it up. It's just no hope, no chance. Maybe next year, or maybe in the next 20 years, they will be able to make it to the finals.
Yeah. Geelong, Port Adelaide, and Melbourne will be the last 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, they might win against Melbourne.
Yeah.
But it's to think about the winnable games against Geelong. I mean, it's out of the equation. If Essendon win against Geelong, you might be able to turn water into wine. We don't know. You need some kind of superpowers and some miracles to do that, I guess.
Yep.
I think Andrew McGrath is out against Geelong. Will he?
Yeah, he will, because he was injured in the last game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Essendon is just no chance.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Carlton. If you look at Carlton, they were a chance before, but they're not now. So it really left up to Bulldogs, GWS, and that's it. I think in my perspective, only GWS and Bulldogs. Otherwise, Essendon is definitely no chance. GWS it's definitely should have some fights, but yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, finals predictors. Harga who'll be in top 8 this season.
Okay, in the top 8, the first rank will be Port Adelaide with this, and then I predict Brisbane will number 2, Geelong and West Coast Eagles. It's like four teams that already fixed. I think below that, Collingwood will play in finals from the 5th to 8th place. Or I still believe GWS still have a chance, so they will be in 6th. And the other one, I think it's Richmond. I'm sorry, I forgot about Richmond. My bad. Yeah, Richmond. Yes, and the last one, Bulldogs. So
okay.
That's it. Yeah,
Confident.
I still believe it. I still believe about Bulldogs, but yeah, the chance is just 50%. If not Bulldog, I think St Kilda will be on the 8th place. But yeah, they will go out straight away because of the level of the playing they have right now.
Bayu, your finals call.
My final calls, I'll put it in numerical order. First one is Brisbane Lions. Second is Richmond. Third is Port Adelaide. Fourth will be Geelong Cats. Fifth, I'll stick with West Coast. The 6th, I think Collingwood will on the 6th. 7th will be St Kilda. Now, on the 8th, depending on how Bulldogs plays against West Coast, if they did get beaten less than 20 points, I would say Bulldogs will be in top 8. If they get beaten more than 20 points, I will pick GWS.
No Melbourne at all? No Melbourne at all?
I don't think Melbourne has any chance, but for goodness sakes, Yeni should say Melbourne for the top 8. Yen, what is your finals prediction, Yen?
I think I'll lock in first and second would stay the same, Port Adelaide and Brisbane Lions. Third is probably will still be Richmond. Fourth, I think, would be West Coast. Fifth will be Geelong. Sixth, I think, Collingwood. 7, I think it's GWS. 8.
Spill it out, Yen. Spill it out.
I don't know. I think it's between St Kilda and Western Bulldogs.
This is not
Come
fun.
on, Yen.
I think we should.
Be optimistic, Yen.
Oh, really? I think Melbourne can only win 1 out of the 3 games left that they have. They'll probably win against Freo, but I'm not convinced that they'll win against GWS and Essendon, unfortunately. So,
I think that's a fair assessment. I think that's a very fair assessment. Really uncool to see unbiased side of Yeni, but that's 2020, folks. You see weird things happening all over around the world, and yeah, the metaphysica in Krakatoas is definitely weird at the moment.
All right. Don't get me wrong. I really want them to get to the finals, but with the last shit show that they showed against Sydney, with Melbourne is like you never know which Melbourne is going to turn up to play. So so yeah, I'm not confident, unfortunately.
Well, is there our last final prediction?
It's a gloomy day. It's a gloomy day. If I imagine like I become, it's like I imagine being Yeni and then see, oh no, another year without finals. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but
yeah, I don't know. They should have won against Sydney and
It's okay. We can cut that off.
So that was our finals predictors coming from a Melbourne supporter, a Bulldog supporter, which, you know, we probably still have a chance for finals, and from a Hawthorn supporter who God knows where they are in the ladder, nowhere close. You're wearing a Collingwood jumper!
And yeah. He's so indecisive, but I don't know.
I know.
Jadi
Bayu has been a hardcore Collingwood fan. Terus season ini dia bilang he changed team to Hawthorn. Tapi karena Hawthorn they're never gonna make it to the finals this year. Kayaknya dia bakal pindah balik ke.
No. Just for a disclaimer, this is the only comfortable jumper that I have in the house. So
of course.
But nanti jangan kaget kalau tahun depan dia pakai jumper Adelaide, Mas. Jadi, yeah, kita lihat.
Maybe Richmond, Mas. Maybe a bit more realistic Richmond. It was very tempting to buy the membership, but yes,
I am happy about all your choice, Mas. But please not Port Adelaide.
No. It's not even a consideration, Mas.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Kita mungkin akan bikin cracking analysis video lagi untuk match-match selanjutnya, apalagi finals are coming up, so please stay tuned. Dan Krakatoas akan mengadakan the second season of the trivia, so if you want to test your knowledge about football, please join our trivia.
It will be very interesting. We've got a whole new system coming up. Please stay tuned on the announcement. And as always, please make sure stay healthy, stay safe. The lockdown isn't far away. So Victoria, mask up, face up, and stay healthy.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.